Welcome back to OG's Uncut, Conversations on the Culture. I'm Preach, your host, and I got my co-host with me, T-Rex in the house. How you feeling this morning, man? What's going on with you?
Not much. A little bump in the road getting here.
Bump in the road?
Yeah, when I first got here, but other than that, I'm calming down.
So you came, you on the tail end on the back end of family reunion, right? You went over to Oklahoma?
Yeah, I went to Oklahoma.
That last week, or was that you got back Monday?
I got back Monday, so it was week before last.
Week before last, okay.
Yeah.
How was that, man? Reuniting with family?
It was cool. It was kind of rough at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Rough at the end, huh?
Yeah, it was rough. You know, you could tell that it was like some feuding going on.
Okay.
You know, the way it went down, the way it looked like it was planned out.
Some family matters, huh?
Yeah. You'd have thought you was at a club, like, you know, when people getting let out.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It wasn't even like.
It went like that.
It went like that. It went south, but they didn't cross the border. You know, they was at the border where
they crossed the border. Who was the border patrol? Who stopped them from crossing the border?
Shit, it was me, a couple of my other cousins. We got involved.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they was outside the club and wanted to bring it back in the club, but you had like innocent bystanders.
Okay.
That was around, and it could have went south. And me, I was like, I don't know what the real dispute was about, but what I did know, this ain't the time and the place to do it.
I got you. And you said it even went to the point where guns was involved, right?
Yeah, that's why I said they didn't cross the border.
I got you.
Yeah.
So, and that might be alarming for folks to hear a family reunion and guns. But it's perfect because we're going to have that conversation about guns today. You ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go these things on, man.
Right.
So today we're going to talk about the story of guns in America. America has its own story when it comes to guns. Right. You're looking at the Revolutionary War, how America was birthed as a nation, setting up the Second Amendment, articulating the rights of the importance of a militia, keeping and bearing arms. America has a history of resistance against tyranny, right? And out of that history comes the story of gun ownership, the right to bear arms, the Second Amendment. But of course, this is OG's Uncut, Conversations on the Culture. So we're going to talk about the story around guns in our culture. What story circulates around us, Black Americans, when you hear of guns, when you see guns? We're going to talk about the story that circulates around that, which drives the mentality we have about guns in our community.
Right.
Our attitudes towards guns in our community.
Right.
So I want to talk about that because I think our story with guns is different than the American story with guns. Right?
Okay.
And I think they really should be the same.
Right.
They should be one and the same. So let's open up this dialogue, man. When I know this is something I think about, but when you hear about guns and Black people, does that bring anything to mind for you, or not necessarily?
When you mean bring to mind, like what? Like,
do you think of when you hear of Black people and guns? Do you think of people shooting at the range? Do you think of
okay, I
crime
feel like
bosses,
when I hear
drug dealers? What comes to mind?
When I hear about Black people with guns, I hear stupidity. I think about stupid. I feel they did something stupid with it.
Okay. You feel like that's how they. You feel like they might have done something stupid once you hear guns enter the chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that? Where's that attitude?
I mean, because I mean, some of it is due through social engineering. When you hear rap, and when you hear different type of music, they promote that, you know, don't fight, shoot. Somebody rob you, shoot them. If somebody disrespect, shoot them. If somebody put their hands on them, shoot them. If somebody step on your shoes, shoot them. You know what I'm saying? It's no how would you say? It's no step by step. Gotcha. Like the gun should be the last thing you should be thinking about.
Yeah, it's no escalation process.
It's no protocol with it. It's just whatever. Get a gun. Like, oh, you gonna keep disrespecting me, nigga? Watch what I do to you when I get out there.
0 to 100.
0 to 100. So that's why when I hear Black people, and you know, when I have firearms and when I, deal with firearms, when I buy them, I don't buy them to purposely want to shoot my people. When I buy them, the first threat that I'm gonna get is from them because they do stupid things with them. I'm not subjected to a white man shooting me because of an argument. That's the last thing I'm gonna think about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if me and this white man fought, then I can see him going to get his gun. If I took some money from him, I can see him getting a gun. When it comes to a white man and a black man getting to talking to where it's gunplay, it's something worth gunplay to a certain degree.
It's interesting because we have a lot of conversations on this channel about the misuse of firearms, especially coming from the Caucasian part of society. And we know, like, when it comes to law enforcement and then self-deputized citizens, when it comes to white folks, we see instances of misuse of firearms and gun use and stuff like that. But you're now bringing up our, the shit that goes on in our culture, which a lot of people throw in our face when we bring up police violence. Well, what about black on black violence, which is not a real thing?
We go for the gun too fast, way too fast. There's no fighting.
But we got a convenient label for ours, though, our crime, because generally crime is a local thing. Usually people commit crimes near where they live. And usually people that look like you live in your vicinity, right? So it's always, you can say white on white, Asian on Asian, whatever. But we get the label and the publicity of black on black. But when we peel back the layers of black on black, you're talking about the mentality now. When you think about black people and guns, a lot of times it's stupidity because there's no process of escalation.
It's gun.
0 to 100.
Gun every time.
We've come a long way to get to that mentality, though, because I'm going to throw another question out there for you. What was the original story of black people and guns, in your opinion? Because we came here as slaves, and those who were already here indigenously, we went through oppression, so clearly we couldn't own guns then.
To make it real simple, back then, when it was guns, to me, anybody can get it. Back in the day, anybody can.
But was the mentality different back in the day?
I think they had more gun discipline because without going through school is because they knew who their enemy was.
Would you say Cowboys was our real first black Cowboys, foundational black American Cowboys was a real first gun experience for black Americans? Where gun ownership and usage was normalized.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of other stuff too, because, coming out of slavery and transitioning and all that, you had some people that just fought their oppression. The
only reason why I think black people had the opportunity to have guns and carry guns because they still was trying to the powers that be or white people, how you want to put it, they were still working on a certain objective, land and acquiring land and everything.
Right.
So that wasn't their main focus. It was going to eventually be their focus. So that spurt in time of them trying to make America great as far as building manufacturing companies, taking land, the last thing they was thinking about was disarming black people where they could defend themselves. Because when you think about it, that was the same time where black people was also getting land and everything. Okay. So once the powers that be or the Caucasian, whoever had got their self situated, they like, okay, we need to take this from them. They free from slavery, but okay, that time that black people was able to carry guns and get land, that because the white people was preoccupied doing what they needed to do. Now, once they established the government, got land, they established this and that, all right, now we need to take away from them.
Declaw.
Let's declaw, take away the land. Let's take away their rights for guns. Let's start establishing the government and laws so they cannot have everything that we have. Because see, when it first started, the way I look at it, when it first started, they was, like I say, they was focused on doing everything they needed to do. That was the gap for black people to get what they wanted, just like the white people.
Because black people were also doing what we needed to do, right?
Yeah.
It was a time of segregation.
So everybody was preoccupied.
Got you. Here's what I'm hearing and seeing as well in this discussion. Like you said, it was a segregated society. Black folks, okay, fine. So we're building. White folks were building. Right?
Yes.
So if we focus on us building, gun ownership was more tied to defending what we had built.
Yeah.
Different mentality.
And protecting of what we went through in the past as well through slavery.
Sure, because there's threats against what you're building. You know, whether it's just housing, businesses, infrastructure.
Yeah.
If you're looking at Black Wall Street. So what I'm saying is the mentality for guns served a purpose.
Yeah.
It wasn't a mentality that you stepped on my shoe or you looked at my girl. It was, we got a common interest that's feeding everybody in our society that we need to defend. So when you think about the story of Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921, when the white folks came in and accused a guy of rape and gave themselves an excuse to start shooting in the town, they shot back. The inhabitants of Tulsa, Oklahoma shot back, but unfortunately, the National Guard came in and bombed the town. But they were able to stand their own ground. And so my point is, that was an old mentality.
Yeah.
How do we get from that to what you just described, this 0 to 100 mentality, to where now it seems that when you mention guns and us, it's criminal, it's unskilled, it's stupid, it's irrational. And that's not to say that that's the mentality all of us have. It's not.
Right.
Clearly me and you ain't like that.
Right.
We know how to break these down, how to shoot them, how to clean them, how to all of that stuff. But for the most part, the storyline around us is dysfunctional when it comes to guns or criminal. How do we go from defending what we own to this mentality now, to this storyline?
We were stripped of everything that we had.
Stripped?
We were stripped from owning land. We were stripped from carrying guns. They created laws to where they made it to where the guns could be taken, or if you keep them, you can go to jail. Drugs in our community, the laws that they created it. So and you created a situation on us to where it was by design to make us turn on each other. We're gonna make y'all situation so bad that y'all turn on each other, but we on the outside watching y'all turn. So through social engineering and them designing things to put pressure on us, we turned on each other to where, it's almost like how white people feel like black people used to feel. I don't think they look at it now like everything that's happening to them is because of black people. But they made it to a point where everything we go through is because of us. Look how they put a prime example. Look how they turned the black woman on us. Okay. That you can't be in the home, you can't get assistance unless the black man not there. So that's the mentality that they was thinking to disarm us, to where when we got guns, we only attack each other. We don't think about attacking them, when really the reason why we attacking each other is because they created a situation for us to attack each other. Because if you think about it, when we was building and getting our shit like they was getting our shit, the last thing we was thinking about was attacking each other.
Yeah, because we needed each other.
We needed each other.
And it was obvious that we needed
each other. And we was doing business with each other.
Right.
We seen our life in the future where we can build wealth.
Right.
But they figured out a way to take that from us. And with that's when the drugs and everything came in. And the guns was the last thing, like icing on the top, to really make them finish each other off. Because the Ku Klux Klan don't have to do the shit no more. We doing it to ourselves. The only reason why the Ku Klux Klan was in effect is because we was building and accomplishing shit. Right. But since they seen us killing each other and doing shit to each other, they like, shit, and they doing the work for us.
The Ku Klux Klan was a militia, by the way. It was a hate-based militia, because their objective was to either bully or undermine economic progress in the black community. And racism was the face that they used to do that. It
Yeah.
was the reason. It was really, racism was just the justification. Because we don't like these people who are different from us, we're going to go in and do these things. But really, that's what your real objective is. Let's economically exploit and undermine. But when I'm hearing you talking, and we look at how we went from a mentality of responsible gun ownership, where it was we're working together, building together, and we understand we need to defend what we're working and building on. And then we fast forward to where we turning our guns on each other, and it's a criminal storyline for guns with us in our culture. I think one of the big transition points to where the storyline changed with us from guns was in the war on drugs, right? When they released crack cocaine into the communities, started criminalizing it because black people took on the criminal culture that came from the Italian mafia. Let's be honest with where the gangster culture started in America. Didn't start with black people. We started a lot of stuff. But as far as I know, that gang culture, who we got? Scarface. What's some other gangsters that's out there that's real popular? Scarface is real popular. But you got all them Italian mob movies. Mm-hmm. So that gangster, shoot 'em up, selling drugs comes from them. And now we were set up and inherited that and unfortunately took it on. But you know, you got the lack of job opportunities, the men out of the house, the women by themselves, drugs coming on the scene and men starting to sell drugs and adopt the gangster mentality that we seen popularized from Scarface and others. Mm-hmm. And now you see Italian Americans don't still carry that storyline no more. If that's not even associated with them. That's it's like a myth. They're gangster activities. But for us, it's like a reality. And I feel like once that drug culture came in and once that gunplay came in around that gun culture, the drug culture, we got stuck with the storyline of guns equating to criminal behavior. Now look at all our entertainment. It's good TV, but it's just the drug and gun violence culture. And I feel like anytime people think of us with guns, that's how they refer to us.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying through social engineering. I mean, even when you talk about the entertainment world, when you see guns being used for our people, I probably can name a ton of movies where the black man with a gun was used for drug related.
Of course, ton of them. It's too easy.
But when I think of movies where a black man used guns in the right way, I probably say like Denzel Washington playing Equalizer, Bass Reeves where he was playing. They don't make a lot of when you talk about entertainment. They don't make a lot of movies where we using guns the right way, showing us using gun discipline. Most of them is in a bad way.
So entertainment and media reinforces the negative storyline.
Plays a big point in that, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And then you hear it in the rap music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you watch cowboy movies now, even when the white man say like all these like Billy the Kid and all them, or like I was saying, I was watching Bonnie and Clyde story with, they call it The Highwaymen on Netflix. I told you I was watching.
Okay.
Even though they was riding around shooting police officers, but they glorified them in a good sense to where white people was celebrating them because all they was doing was robbing banks that was robbing people or their homes and stuff. So even on the good side of movies, when it comes to guns, you see white people. And on the bad side, like the movie Johnny Depp played in The Diligent Story, you know what I'm saying, the Al Capone movies, you don't see the negativity. And even when I watch it, I'm like, damn, I see why they took the law into their own hands and did whatever. But it's glorified. But it doesn't mess them up in society. Because you got entertainment, but then when you look at a white person with a gun, and I even admit to it, when I see most white men with a gun, I'm not thinking they're going to do something stupid with it. But when I'm around some young black boys and they may have a gun legally or illegally, I feel uncomfortable. Why? Is because of the stupidity that I've been hearing. I'm not gonna play like I'm not nervous around black people with guns, because that's your first fucking result.
Right.
Is to use your gun. Now I give it to white people. That's not their first result, but when they do it, it's more. It's not on you stepped on my shoes. It's more like some political shit, like what that boy did, being a Trump supporter.
Yeah, they fucked up, but still more purposeful.
More purposeful. And I'm not trying to say what they're doing is right.
I feel you on that.
But you don't see us using guns purposeful like that, except for what the old boy did in Dallas, shooting the police. That black dude, I want to say in Washington or somewhere, he was an ex-cop. He was shooting police officers that was racist or whatever. You don't really hear us use guns purposefully.
Right.
We use guns mostly for stupid shit.
It's usually emotional. It's usually like in some emotional trigger that got something to do with a relationship or some kind of street violence, which we understand like street code or whatever the case is.
Now me personally,
because the idea of street code is to enforce your own law. Yeah. Right. But you're protecting a criminal enterprise.
Yeah.
Right?
And my mindset when I have firearms is that's not my first resort if I get into it with a black dude. It's my result because 9 times out of 10, that's where you're going to take it. And I talk to a lot of young guys. They're like, man, my was shooting, fuck all the bullshit. Why fight them when it's gonna end up in gunplay? That's what the young people mindset is. Why play with it? I'm just gonna get you out of it. They don't want to work up to going to get the gun. They just want to say, fuck it, why fight him? Because I know he gonna go get his boys or whatever.
It's lazy. It's lazy. And unfortunately, it's again, we talking about this is another aspect of the art of storytelling, which we did another episode. This is the storyline that's painted around our culture when it comes to guns, and that storyline shapes the mentality for a lot of people. Because if you got a storyline that says guns with black people is always criminal, drug related, all of this stuff, undisciplined, when somebody get their hand on a gun, they gonna fulfill that model. They're gonna act in that role in that way. There's not, you're right, like when you look in entertainment, there's a handful of movies with the disciplined use of guns by us in a movie about us, right? You don't see that, and I think that's a big problem. I like the term gun discipline that you are introducing, because that's really what it's all about. And gun discipline is not just about the gun, it's about the person having a disciplined mentality to know that using this is a last resort. This ain't something I go to because you stepped on my shoe. You know what I'm saying? Like when you in a conflict and the shit is heating up and you escalating, discipline is the mentality to know that this is an absolute last resort, and that I can keep my emotions in check during the conflict to handle it, to expel or use every possible means to subdue the situation before I go here. That's gun discipline. It's a mentality. But if we keep getting the mentality enforced through media and everything, that it's 0 to 100, we're not gonna get no gun discipline. And I think a lot of times we fuck our own reputation up when it comes to guns. That's why I might want to put this pretty boy on my hip and go for a walk like this. But that's a problem. Partially because of how society deals with us, but then partially because of us. Yeah. And the way we
and
show
we
lack
gotta
of
understand that, like, why you ask where did that come from, is because our situation, our circumstances. Yeah. I will blame them for that, because like I say, if we was able to have Black Wall Street and have our businesses, we would have the same mindset and gun discipline,
of course,
as any other ethnicity, especially white people. The reason why white people buy their guns, if you really ask them, when they buy guns, their mindset is to protect, for one, their home. Every white guy, I protect my home in case somebody breaks in. To protect their family, protect their wealth. Their mindset of buying guns, and the last thing on their list that most white people buy their guns for, in case the government falls.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's to protect their land and everything. Let's keep it real, black people might get mad. We're not thinking about that. We just getting guns. Most of the time, a lot of black people getting the guns is for a fad. Just to say I got them.
Let's give black people. We're gonna give. We painting the whole picture.
Yeah.
But we're gonna give black people some credit too, because I say that the young and dumb and the old and dumb get it for the wrong reasons, the guns and stuff like that. But you got a lot of black men who have gun discipline, and they get it for the reasons that you are talking about.
Very few
defend it, but I would say we get very little exposure to them. Yeah, but I think it's a lot, because if you think about how many of us have gone through the military. I retired from the Marines. You was in the Army. We both went to war. So it's like we got gun discipline, and it's a lot of guys out there who have it. The problem is media don't focus on that group. It focuses on the entertainment, the hip hop, the sensationalized, emotional thug. So that dominates the storyline. It's not that the discipline don't exist. It does, but it's just underexposed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which is fucked up.
Yeah, because I mean, I can damn near ask any young dude on the street carrying a firearm, legally or illegally, and ask him to break it down. I guarantee you don't know how to break it down. What you mean how to break it down? I can name parts of the weapon to him. What's that? And then you break it down. See, a lot of them don't even know that.
Right.
Before you can use a weapon in the military, you first got to know how to break it down.
You got to understand the components.
When you was in the military, you got a chart on your table, or you got a chart on the wall, and they tell you step by step. They used to tell us break it down to a skeleton form. And then you had to be able to identify the parts. Yep. And then you also had to have a point to where when we would practice, you should be able to put that junk together without even looking at it.
Yeah, you
should be able to do it in the dark.
You don't need, and the thing about it, I like them little mats we used to have. It have like a shape for all the parts.
Yeah, and the name tone.
And the name, but really, I mean, that helps you learn at first, but then after a while, you don't need that no more. But
the
if you
concept
use it,
is there.
The concept, but it can help you from losing parts, right? Like if you take the part, you put it in the shape. It can help you from losing. And
then it'll teach you how to buy a weapon. Especially a lot of these young guys buy weapons off the street and get beat purchasing a weapon that's not even satisfactory. But if he had said, hold on, man, before I buy this weapon, break it down. Hey, man, you missing this and this. I ain't gonna buy that. You don't even know if the trigger hammer is filed down to where it won't even hit the bullet, because they don't know. They can't tell. They can't even see the weapon to see if the serial number's been filed out, because they don't know how to break it down.
Ain't no firing pin in the gun. That thing ain't gonna fire.
Some of them shoot the gun and don't even check to make sure the round is clear, to make sure there ain't no rock or nothing in there, no debris to where the shit explode in your hand. Mm-hmm. That's the gun. But see, you go to the range, and when I go with you at the range, you'll see white people in there with kids young.
You do.
Teaching them at a young age. Maybe I may seen one black dude with his son in a range.
Yeah, you don't see a lot. I see more black people in ranges now. Shout out to us. Like I said, it's a lot more of us doing this than is publicized. Yeah. Right. I think the lack of gun discipline and the stupidity that you're talking about is over publicized. You got, every time I go to the range now, I see black people in there. You don't see that many with their kids. At least I haven't. I know I've taken my son before to the range and stuff like that. But gun discipline starts with gun knowledge, right? You knowing what you're doing. You knowing what you're dealing with, and you're competent. You understand the power of what you hold it in your hand. You know how to break it down, clean it, put it back together. You know how to operate it safely. it starts with competence. But we're gonna transition to something else. But
Okay, and maybe this is what you're about to transition into, and this is what I talk about. Psychologically, even though you may do everything right, especially for me, why do we still feel like we hesitant to shoot it when we rightfully have the right?
oh, we know why.
Because white men, they can buy a gun and psychologically, they're not hesitant to pull it on their own. They damn sure ain't hesitant to pull it on us. But for us, we still feel like it's a dark cloud over us even when we got it.
But there is a dark cloud over us, I think.
And it shouldn't be though.
It shouldn't be. And I think that there is a dark cloud, and the dark cloud is society's attitude towards us with guns and the storyline that we're talking about that hovers around us with guns, that is always criminal. It's like we got painted with that Italian mob violence, that gang culture. We embrace that. We popularize it through entertainment, with Scarface being.
We use it as our template to do drugs.
It's the template. Yeah. Scarface was an icon for a second in hip hop, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the energy that people were using, and it's good to use the energy for entertainment, but for actual gun discipline, it's not good. So that storyline is what creates the dark cloud around us. And even though me and you might know that I know what I'm doing with that, I'm licensed, everything, all the boxes are checked, you have to almost ignore the dark cloud to say, it's like, despite that dark cloud, I'm going to go ahead and run with it. Or if I got to use it, I'm going to use it because I know I've done my due diligence. But it's an extra layer psychologically that we have to push through to feel normal about gun use,
right?
Because of the story that is pushed on us in America.
Yeah.
Now, when we talk in our warm-ups for this, you used to live in Texas.
Yeah.
You had, how long were you there?
From 2017 to 2021, close to the end of 2021. You might have say from 17 to 2022.
22. Okay,
Yeah,
so you're looking about 5 years, close to 5 years. So you were settled in Texas. You lived there. You made friends. You were a personal trainer, master fitness trainer. So you came across a lot of people. In the past, you've mentioned talking to police officers and having personal conversations.
SWAT, yeah.
SWAT. Who else? What, normal police? SWAT.
SWAT, yeah.
Okay, and just kind of chopping it up on a camaraderie. You know, status, with you being an Army vet and them being, and so you had some personal conversations when you're talking about purchasing guns.
Right.
You said some things that I thought were interesting because I know when I go to a gun store to get a gun,
right,
I got to fill out a background check form.
Yeah.
I got to fill all of that out.
Yeah.
We live in Virginia. I'm in Virginia. When I went to purchase any of these guns. Selected the one I want, you take it up to that counter, you fill out all that background check information, and then they hit whatever, and they say, okay, come back in about 30 minutes after the background check is complete. A lot of times it take mine longer than 30 minutes. It take mine about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I go do whatever else, come back, okay, you're good, we complete the purchase of the gun, I walk out with the gun registered to me.
Right.
You mentioned that some people have a loophole around that.
Yeah.
The gun loop law.
Yeah.
Talk about that loophole that you talk about where people maybe circumvent that background check.
All right, well, let me start here. Well, a lot of the crimes that most of these people that we've been hearing, everybody's wondering how the hell was they able to purchase firearms when they have a mental illness or they have a track record. How was they able to go in the store and purchase a weapon? Keep that in mind as I'm explaining this scenario. Now, the gun loop law, you get a person that can sell a firearm, don't have to work in the store, but they also can work in the store. They can purchase weapons and sell the weapons without them doing a background check on you. This is, I want to say this was before the Biden administration. I think while he was trying to shut that down. I don't think he really was able to shut it all the way down. So you have, and this is something that y'all need to think about, and this is what I mentioned to my cousin. Ever since I went into gun stores, I've never seen a Caucasian person, white person filling out them forms. Have you ever saw them filling them out?
I feel like I have. But
I never saw
I just
them.
feel like other people who, but you know, I don't watch what people are doing.
Yeah,
I don't know if they had the kiosks filling out or not. I just know they get their stuff a lot faster than I do.
Yeah, okay, cool. Remember that. They get them a lot faster than you do.
Yeah.
All right, keep that as a thumb note. As well as people, think about all the people that get firearms, that have a mental disorder. They look mentally
Stable. They look normal.
No, they don't look normal.
Oh, you talking about
If
folks
you,
who...
I gotta paint a picture before I tell the story. Look at all the mass shootings when it comes to Caucasian people, white people. When you look at them, I think you sent me a list of them.
Right.
When you look at them, do they look
It's a bunch of weirdness going on.
like
Right.
you shouldn't even be in the gun store purchasing shit? You should be getting your shit off the street like black people do. Thumb note, let's just keep it there.
Okay.
So everybody that watch the show, look at all your mass shootings when it comes to white people and look at them like, how the fuck this nigga was able to get a gun?
Okay.
All right, just that. Now, so let's go back to the story, what I'm saying. So with the gun loop law, I never seen a white dude filling out a form and he's sitting waiting for I can get it. Most of the time when I'm in there, I see them go pick something and they purchase and walk out. But with me, I sit, wait a couple of hours. They'll tell me, walk around and look at what you want to see, and I'm still waiting. I'm seeing white people come in, walk out. Come in, walk out. I have never seen them fill it out. So now I'm getting to the gun loop. A lot of these people that work in them stores, they work for the store, but they also are private owned sellers. Most of your people that sell guns in the store, they private owned sellers.
They're private sellers. Okay.
They private sellers.
Okay.
So a lot of times when you seeing somebody in the store that's purchasing a weapon out that store, it might be somebody that's got their private collection of weapons that they can sell out the store because they have a private own. So they don't have to fill out the form. All you have to do is show them your driver's license. Me personally, I was in Texas
So
for
you
7
skip
years.
the background check when it's a private
That's the
sale.
gun loop when it's a private sale. All they have to do is write down your information or however they take a picture and put it in their database. So if you do something with that weapon, they can go back to the person who sold it to you, vice versa.
Yeah.
You can buy something from a person that's private sale and they say, well, you use this weapon. You're like, I never discharged the weapon. They say, for instance, this weapon has a body on it. You be like, well, I bought it from this guy.
Streets need a body.
We bought it. Well, I bought it from him. I was in Texas, in Fort Worth. They have this big ass armory. Everybody that love guns had to been to there. Put it like this: they have over 3,000 tables.
Damn, tables?
Tables. 3,000.
Not guns.
Tables for guns to be on.
Shit.
We set it up. It took us a whole day just to set the tables out. 3,000 tables. So you can imagine how big this armory is in Fort Worth. It's the biggest one.
Damn.
You have everybody from Wyoming, from all kinds. Come here.
Okay.
Follow me, y'all.
Okay.
So when these people pulling up, it's police there and everything. They're seeing what? Out-of-state tags.
Right.
And when I say when you go to this gun show, you're seeing everything. 50 cows that was mounted on Humvees.
Damn.
You're seeing these. Not one, but like 10 that you can purchase. I say, dog, I was in there because, when we set up, we can sit there and stand and watch.
Yeah.
Because after it's all over, we got to break down all the tables.
Right.
I say, man, how much is that 50 cow right there? He had a sign, he showed it to me, it was 5,000. I say, so you telling me if I got the money, I can buy that right now? He like, yo. I say, well, what do I need? Just show me your ID and boom. They don't have
private sale.
private, because all the people in there is selling private sale. These are all private sales, and some of them are gun stores. But even if you're selling out from a gun store, you still have to have private sale because you're not selling out your store. You at a location to sell it.
I got you.
So yeah. So
where they getting the inventory from is another question, but we won't go into
that. Shit. Man, like I say, man, it was some tables where these guys were just selling ammunition for everything.
Right.
I even seen, cause I'm telling you, they even had grenades in there.
Grenades in
They had military stuff in there. That's what I'm telling you.
Wow.
They had military stuff. I'm telling you, a 50 cal. In the military, a 50 cal was only used, according to the Geneva Convention,
right,
for light armor vehicles. Why the fuck do you got this in an armory?
Damn.
But to me, I'm like, okay, this is for some militia type shit. These motherfuckers that live in these back of the woods in Virginia, Tennessee, that if you cross that line, they can gun your ass down. And according to the military, being in the military, me being in combat, certain weapons was used for body harm, and then you had light armor, and then me being in infantry and artillery, the missiles and rockets was to hit tanks and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you use
indirect fire.
Yeah, but if you use anything for light armor, you can get in trouble because they consider that manslaughter. It's called the rules of engagement.
Right.
So I'm knowing this. Why the fuck are y'all selling this? This shit is for what you use in the military.
And like you said,
what tank you gonna shoot at? Unless
crazy.
you shooting at the National Guard or the military if it's martial law. But they selling it.
So let me break down so that now your story's out there, which is crazy with the grade of weapon and ammunitions that they sell, a military grade shit. That's crazy. No background check. That's crazy. Private sales. The gun loop law that T-Rex is referring to isn't a law, but it's a term that's used to refer to gaps in gun law that allow you to circumvent what you would normally have to go through, the screening process. There are ways to circumvent it. And I'm going to read a couple ways.
You pull some up?
Yeah, I'm going to read a couple ways. The one that you just said, right? Like gun regulations can vary widely from place to place. Some laws might have loopholes that people can exploit to circumvent restrictions, right? Here's an overview of some comment.
Thank you for looking at it so people won't think I'm making it up.
Let me work it. Private sales and background checks, right? In some jurisdictions, private sales of firearms are not subject to the same background checks required by licensed dealers.
Okay.
This allows individuals to purchase guns without undergoing a background check. So when we talk about gun loop law, this is what we're saying. Like a private sales is a way that you can circumvent a background check. So if you got something that's wrong with you, you're strange, and you're walking in there, kill whatever on your shirt. Yeah. You can get that gun. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If a private salesman is in that store. Yeah. Something else that you mentioned. Gun show loophole. He just talked about the gun show in Texas. I've been to gun shows. The one he's talking about is crazy. That 3,000 tables. If you've been to a gun show, one table can have how many guns on it? 50? 50 guns?
Depending on what
type it is. If it's pistols, it's 100 easy. Yes. On a table. Yes. 3,000 tables, folks, is what we're talking about.
Texas, yes.
Fort Worth, Texas.
We set it up. They have it every year.
This is a gun show. Now, there's a gun show loophole similar to private sales in some areas. Firearms sold at gun shows are not subject to the same strict regulations as those sold by licensed dealers. This can also allow for sales without background checks. Now, I've been to a gun show and I think I got like a police grade. Yeah. I think a Glock 19 at a gun show. And I went through a background check because there was a licensed dealer there. But you got so many vendors. Yes, what we're saying is that your private sales are in there throughout. Yes. So the private sales folks, you can go in there and get it without the background check.
And you remember that gun show that we went to right here in Virginia? I say, cuz watch when we move around. They have people in there that's watching to see people buy. Right. So they can arrest you out there. It's like a setup. It's a plan. They know this shit. So they put people in there to walk around and monitor. Right. They know the people. So if they choose to fuck with you, hey.
They know how to get you.
And guess what? Send them to prison, lock them up. So now we feeding the prison system money.
Right.
So they're picking and choosing. That's why I said it's almost like for us, the reason why this is what when we was talking, it's like if I was to purchase one, I want something that's, this way or that way, because at the end of the day, when you look at the news, like that young dude that did that shit in Louisiana or whatever, he drove to do that mass shooting, that white boy. And he felt like, I think it was the white boy where he was shotting them black people, it was some racist shit. He got off from that. But where did he get them guns? They said them weapons wasn't registered in his name.
Right.
But they was brand new. So you see what I'm saying? But he's white.
Got you.
But when black people do it, they got people planning in there to get you.
Ready. We already.
Yeah.
We setting the trap.
The trap. It's a double standard for them.
Let me here's another one that you mentioned with the gun loop law, right?
Yeah.
Ghost guns.
There you go.
Ghost guns are firearms assembled from parts without serial numbers, making them difficult to trace and regulate.
Yeah.
They present significant regulatory challenges as they can be acquired without traditional background checks. I mean, this is like, whether you get a lot of guns that you might get on the streets probably got a serial number. And the downside of that is if it's got a body on it, they done used it to murk somebody, and they can trace them rounds to that gun. If it's in your possession, then that's your ass. But
a lot of these young kids, that's what they're getting.
No, that's what they're getting.
It's a lot of white. I have in Texas and South Carolina, but mainly in Texas, it's so many white boys that can make your AR-15 from scratch and make the ammunition for you.
Right.
That can penetrate doors, armor piercing. They can go through doors
with switches on them.
So they not getting them from. It's illegal for a gun store to put switches on them, but you got people now that can do that for you.
Yeah, that's illegal. Okay,
but they got them out here though.
So we're creating awareness about the gun loop law.
Yeah,
how it breaks down, how you can find a gun purchase loophole in a gun store. At a gun show.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Right, it's not what you know, it's who you know. In some cases, it's not what you know, is who you are.
Now, I don't knock it. I'm not saying this to knock it, because to my point of view, a weapon you get without going in a gun store, a weapon that you get in the gun store does not meet your fate. Is what you do with it, and then who you go before to say if you was right or wrong for using it. Because you can get a gun legitimately wise and do everything right, but you still got to do time. How is that?
Right. Yeah, I mean, and the problem, the concern with the loophole is that people who need to be screened aren't getting screened, right? Like you can have somebody who purchases from a private dealer, they may be responsible with the gun.
Yes.
But it's like people who know they're not supposed to have a gun knows these avenues to get one.
Yeah.
And we're not here, this is not a political conversation. We're not here talking about gun control and this all of that. We're talking about understanding the landscape. Yeah. Because in America, again, America's story, guns are at the foundation, because it was America was born out of resistance against tyranny, to protect its sovereignty, its right to build, its right to self-determination. That's what guns incorporate in the American story.
People need to read the Second Amendment.
Yeah. And
because it speaks on that. It says militia that go against
the right to bear arms,
to go against the government and everything in case the government is not acting right or whatever.
Well, let me read it real quick. I got it up here. The Second Amendment is a part of the United States Constitution, specifically within the Bill of Rights. It was adopted on December 15th, 1791, and it reads, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." What
does infringe mean, so people can understand?
Infringe means restricted or prevented, right? It shall not be blocked.
Okay.
Right. The right to keep and bear arms. But it's a lot of debate around that. We're not gonna get into it. And that's why you got like the gun law, the regulations. I think guns should be regulated because you need to make sure they're in the hands of responsible people. But like, what I don't like about how the Democrats talk about guns is they paint guns with the same paint that they paint our culture with. Like, it's equates to criminal behavior. No, that's why you need to screen people to see as much as you can understand about their mentality, right? What they got in their background and all of that. You need to look at those indicators and say, are they going to be a responsible firearm owner? At the end of the day, that's what you need. Because if you in a situation where a gun is needed, you would want somebody who has one and who knows what to do with it responsibly. The problem is making sure that they don't get into the wrong hands, and the other problem for us in our culture is overcoming and moving past this lack of gun discipline. This 0 to 100 mentality. Unfortunately, that's over promoted in hip hop, and I love hip hop. But y'all, let's do something with the content. Goddamn, you know what I'm saying? We ain't got to shoot up everything. You know what I mean? And I think even with some hip hop songs, you can listen to a song that talks about gunplay, but when you're mature, you're not thinking about shooting. You may just be using the energy of the song. You know, you might just be, I'm about to kill this project. It might sound corny, but it's real. Like when I listen to it, I'm not thinking about going and shooting no ops. I'm thinking about what challenges am I facing. I might be in the gym listening to Young Dolph. It's the energy of the song, right? When your mind is right and when you got a gun discipline mindset, you're not influenced by what songs are talking about with guns. You are listening to it as entertainment and energy to fulfill what your purpose is. You're not under the influence like that, but you got some people. It's a form of expression. It's a form of expression, but you got some people who are under the influence because of the bigger story about guns that's in our culture,
and they in that environment.
Yeah, better point.
They in that environment, so okay, I'm hearing it in the song, so this is how I need to act in this environment.
It's like an instruction manual for that environment. Yeah.
That's why I was saying that when we use it, if we, most of us had the intelligence, like what you're saying, that's why I say we do it out of stupidity.
Right.
And that's the reason why other ethnicities feel uncomfortable when we have them, when we rightfully supposed to have it. But see, they don't know your background to know that you got that gun discipline.
Right.
All they know is you're a black man. You might have grew up in that environment and that's your mentality. When that's probably the farthest from the truth. It's just like pit bulls. You know, pit bulls used to be banned in Maryland and Virginia. Now you got pit bull kennels. It seems like everybody and their mother got a goddamn pit bull. Right. And people psychologically are not threatened by them. When pit bulls wasn't a threat anyway, it was the stigma that was put on. Yeah, some of them fight. But
story, yeah.
Yeah, but as time went on, look, pit bulls, you see them where I live at. Yeah. You see everybody with a damn pit bull. They got pit bull killers where they just sell nothing but pit bulls. Then they got pit bulls where you can get that people didn't want them. What you call them, rescue pit bulls. They got them all here in Virginia. Virginia banned them and Rottweilers for years. Now they're not. When are they gonna take that ban from us to where people psychologically will feel comfortable with us having firearms just like they feel comfortable with pit bulls? Because
with us they equate guns to the way they used to deal with a stigmatized pit bull, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's the power of storytelling, though. The art of storytelling, right? We put the right story around you. It creates a certain mentality about you.
Right.
So we're painting the picture with the right storyline. We talking about competent black folks with guns, who there are many of us, but we need more exposure for this. You know, folks know what they're doing. Folks been to the military. Folks go to the range. Folks know how to store their firearms in the house. They know how to break it down, clean it, reassemble it, check it, function check it, put it in the safe to where it's locked away from anybody who shouldn't be handling it.
And we're not, and a lot of us are not influenced by the music to where we act out what we hear.
Right. We're not under that influence.
I think that's the number one thing for white people. If we so expressatory when it comes to music, that
Right.
they believe that we don't have the common sense to differentiate this is music from reality.
Right.
That's why white people, I truly believe if it wasn't in our form of expression through music, they wouldn't be that hostile towards us.
They might not, but I feel like that they might create another reason
Yeah, true.
to
Which they do
be
everything
hostile
else.
because
Yeah.
we know a lot of, in some cases, there's more white people consuming this form of hip hop than us. You know, in terms of the concerts and shit like that. So they listening to it, and well, we can't say they not doing, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. But you know, folks know we know how to differentiate. But it's like with it being in the music the way it is, it's easy to paint us with that
and
brush.
keep the stigma
It's
on.
easy to use music to maintain the stigma and to maintain the storyline. So what we're saying is we're responsible not only for how we handle guns, but we're responsible for how we handle the story about guns. We need to do better, man. You know what I'm saying? Quit putting all this Scarface bullshit up there and making that the model
For us.
with how we deal with guns. You know what I'm saying? You got military guys out here, you got military vets, you got cats who know what they're doing with guns. Promote that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Go if you don't even want to promote that, at least allow us to see black people back in the day that was cowboys and see
Right.
put those in movies. Like, okay, we do have what was that black dude? I can't think of his name. Nate that was going around shooting, but showing the gun discipline. He wasn't recklessly just shooting people. He was probably robbing a bank, and whoever looked like they was gonna shoot, he shot them. Even though he robbing the bank, he just wasn't shooting everybody in the bank. He only shot who he needed to shot to get away with the money. No different than
That's a crazy
Dirk
example. You
Dillinger. No, but I'm just saying.
You use a criminal example when we talk about.
But no, because when you look at criminal examples of white people when they would shoot people,
I got
when
you.
they rob,
It's reckless. It's reckless. It's not targeted. But
yeah. So, but we had black people even when they were doing criminal stuff. They only fired upon people that need to be fired upon to get
I got
away.
you. The criminal shit is fun, you know, especially for entertainment.
Yeah,
It's fun for entertainment, but we got to stop marring the line between entertainment and real life, especially when it comes to guns. Cause we got a lot of cats out here. You got a lot of black-owned gun stores, licensed sellers who also offer gun training. You know, how to shoot your gun, scenario-based training, all of that stuff. But we need to promote it more, and we need to be responsible with how we speak about guns. And I'm not talking about mainstream media. I'm talking about us. I'm talking about outlets with black people and black voices, because this is your story. This is our story and our culture. We need to control that, and we need to be gatekeepers of the perception that's created around guns with us. So for you folks on the radio station and all of that, you know, a celebrity, he had a gun on it. The tone that you deliver that news report, and he had a gun, okay, and it wasn't licensed. What was going on?
Going to a point, it shouldn't even matter if it was licensed or not.
But my thing is the tone that's used, and I hear these reporters who got a lot of media exposure, syndicated shows, when it's a celebrity or whatever, or so and so was stopped by the police and they had a gun. Oh, okay, and you know what I'm saying? Continue.
Yeah.
Say the full context.
Yeah.
But see, we're in the mentality that when it's a gun, you like a kid. Oh.
Yeah, like a black person don't supposed
you
to
got
have
a gun.
Yeah.
Like, please educate yourself, because you know some of these folks with big platforms are the most ignorant around that, and maybe you being used for that. Maybe they know you're going to perpetuate the
they're
stigma.
They're being used. That's what it is.
He got a gun? Man, tell the whole story. Yeah. Was it legal? Was it a ghost gun? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If it was licensed and he's in a state and a location where he's licensed to have that, then it ain't no issue. It's just, okay, he had a gun. That's it.
I mean, me and I said, him legally, if it's a ghost gun, if you're a celebrity and you go into environments where you have to perform, and it's your gun or not your gun or whatever, you a wealthy person. I don't know nobody that's wealthy goes somewhere without security or protection. So even if, like back in the day, it was celebrities that had security, but they still had their own weapons.
Sure.
It's just like what police officers say. We're not heroes. We can't be in all places at all times.
Yeah.
And people got to understand that you trying to call the police. It takes time for them to get there. You might luck up and you might be getting robbed or whatever, and the police might be coming. But shit, you really call the police after you've been victimized.
Right.
So even if a celebrity got a gun, I believe legally or illegally, he's got money. And if he got it, most of the time when celebrities got guns illegally, because 9 times they're restricted from getting them legally. But they still need some protection.
Of course.
At the end of the day. But the weapons be clean, but it's not legally in their name. They still make that a big thing.
Right.
Well, motherfucker, I'm in the hood. I'm performing.
It's the storyline, man.
Yeah, and what they put on
That's
us.
why I'm saying that, we got to take better control of our story around this because, we can't be over promoting this undisciplined shit.
Yes.
And, we need the right storyline because the storyline is going to shape the mentality and the attitude towards guns.
Yeah.
So, last thoughts, man.
There's really no last thoughts. It seemed like the last couple of times I put everything out there. I just say like, hey, if you feel like you can get a firearm legally, get one. If you feel like you want to get your rights back to get a firearm, fight for it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be subjected that's the end all be all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because especially in the time of the season, what's going on, you should be able to get your rights to bear a firearm. And I think this is the time of the season to do that. Because there's so much stuff going on that you can really argue your case to where you can get your gun rights back, especially in the climate of everything going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think the stigma for us is not lifted all the way off of us, but they done let their foot up some to where you got enough space to put your hand between your face, your neck, and that foot to do this. When you used to have it on your neck, you couldn't even squeeze your finger up under there.
Right.
But since it's a gap, you can slide your hand up and go like this and push it off. And I think we need to use this as momentum and the opportunity to raise more gun awareness.
Right.
For guys that feel like they might or can't or should get their gun, go for it. I think this is the time in the season to do it.
Yeah. And, with that, my final thoughts are, it's not about the gun, it's about the gun owner.
Yeah.
Right? When you talk about gun discipline, guns don't shoot themselves. And I know a lot of people like to put this conversation in a political context. We ain't talking politics. We talking real life. In real life, this motherfucker ain't gonna shoot itself.
No.
It's about whose hand it's in and that person's level of competence. Their mental and emotional stability, right? Their ability to maintain discipline in conflict to understand that this thing is going to end everything, so it's got to be the last resort, right? We're talking gun discipline, and that needs to be normalized as a mentality, and that needs to be how we frame our conversations, right? The exception needs to be the 0 to 100 emotional thug shit, right? That's exception that we can address, but the norm, let the conversation be about the responsible gun owner who know what they're doing. Right, because that's the awareness that we need to raise. And I would also say everybody don't need it. It's not for everybody. If you're afraid of guns, you need to stay away from them. Some people want to be so want to get cute around guns. Oh my God, it's this and that. Stay away from guns because you're frantic. You know what I'm saying? You are part of the problem. You're trying to be so safe that when you see a gun, you got to do all of this stuff. I can't stand people who come around a gun like that.
Yeah, it's like Chris Tucker said in Money Talk. Guns don't kill people. Stupid people with guns kill people.
Exactly. And even the people, even the people who, you got some people who are so-called safe. I don't like guns. You're also undisciplined.
Yeah.
You're also undisciplined because you're the type of person that would get a gun and do some stupid shit with it. It's like, oh my God, and they throw it down because you're trying to show everybody how, I don't like guns. Stay your ass away from guns.
I think that's bullshit.
Stay your ass away from guns, though.
I think that's bullshit. People are afraid of guns because that's like people saying, I think war is stupid. Okay, then let some motherfuckers come in here with some guns and about to shoot your ass, and somebody come save you with a gun from the shoot. You're gonna be like, I thank you so much that you was in my life to save my life.
Of course. But
I think that's so stupid when people say guns are.
But I mean, a gun is a serious, piece of machinery. I mean, I understand people being uncomfortable with it, but you can't come around with frantic energy around a gun. If you're not self-controlled, you need to be far away from a gun. You know what I'm saying? If a gun excites
in the house.
If a gun excites you in either direction like that, you probably need to be away. If you so excited about a gun, oh my God, I need to bust, nigga, put that gun down. Yeah. You don't need it. Or if a gun excites you in the other direction, oh my God, what is this? Stay your ass away from guns. You don't need them.
Some people get brave and feel like they superheroes because they got a gun. You don't need it.
You don't need it. Because you are showing a lack of discipline
and a false sense of security.
A lack of discipline. When you too hype for a gun, you don't need it. That's a lack of discipline. When you too afraid and frantic, you don't need it. It's a lack of discipline. And your lack of discipline will cause something bad to happen because of something that your ass is gonna do.
Yeah.
Because you ain't got no control. Yep. So if you were thinking about getting a gun, get the training first. You know what I'm saying? And really, in most states, in order to get a concealed carry license or whatever, if you can't show a DD-214 that you served in the military and already been trained, then there's classes for you that you can go through that teach you how to properly handle, maintain, and operate a firearm before you can get your license. There's some gun stores who give classes and stuff like that. So go and get familiar so that when you're around it, you're not frantic and you don't have this antsy energy. Because when you bring that becomes the real problem with guns.
And a lot of people, 9 times out of 10, a lot of people don't go to the range to know how to properly fire their weapon. They don't have no gun training at all. People buy them and never go to the range to learn how to shoot.
Yeah, they just have them in their house, right?
They just have them just for the sake of saying they got them.
It's a good point. If you're gonna buy it, the first thing you need to do, in fact, you don't even need to purchase a gun until you've made up your mind that you're gonna go get trained. Right? The first thing you need to do is go get some training. Know what you are doing with the gun, because the last thing you need is a misfire or a negligent discharge, is what we call. Some people might say pause on that, but a negligent discharge where you fired the gun unintentionally. Because you don't have gun discipline. Your mind is not set up to know how to safely handle a gun, right? So
this ain't buying a car, because most vehicles have manuals how to operate your car.
Yeah.
But when you buy a firearm, most time it's in a box. I behoove you. Read that goddamn manual, please.
Right.
At least learn how to break the damn thing down.
We got
put it back together. And all the manuals have how to break it down and put it back together.
Do. You can even YouTube, you got some guys with gun channels and stuff like that.
Yes.
Break it down. But at the end of the day, gun conversation, let that be the attitude, competence, right? And let that be the storyline. At the end of the day, that's what we're talking about. So those are our final thoughts. We talking guns a day. We in the cowboy spirit still. Yeehaw. This is OG's Uncut. Conversations on the culture. We appreciate you joining us. And like we always say, don't watch and hide.
Like and subscribe.
Till next time, we out.
Peace.